Focus. It's one of the most powerful forces in the world. Focus is the lens that takes the scattered rays of our energy and turns them into a burning flame strong enough to cut through steel, strong enough to break barriers, strong enough to create something out of nothing. When you learn to master focus, you hold in your hands the ability to direct your destiny, to design your future, and to build a life that reflects your true potential. But let's be honest, focus isn't easy. We live in a world full of noise, full of distractions, full of flashing lights pulling at our attention every second. Social media pings, endless notifications, streaming platforms, and the constant rush of life. It all wants a piece of your mind. And if you're not careful, the world will scatter your energy in so many directions that you'll never build anything meaningful. There's a quote by Tony Robbins that says, "Where focus goes, energy flows. And where energy flows, whatever you're focusing on grows." Think about that for a moment. Whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, your problems grow. If you focus on fear, your fear grows. But if you focus on possibilities, on solutions, on your vision, then those two will expand until they become your reality. That's why learning to focus is not just a skill, it's a survival tool in the modern age. Success is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things with intensity, with clarity, with persistence. The truth is, greatness has never been about talent alone. There are countless talented people who never fulfilled their potential because they never mastered focus. They were scattered. They chased everything and caught nothing. I want you to imagine this. A magnifying glass on a sunny day. When you hold it casually, the sunlight passes through it and warms your hand a little, nothing special. But when you tilt it just right, when you hold it still and steady, the rays of the sun converge into a single point. That focused energy is powerful enough to set paper on fire. The sun's energy hasn't changed, but the concentration of it has. That's the difference between living an average life and living an extraordinary one. The difference is focus. Every person who has ever achieved greatness understood this principle. Steve Jobs once said, "Focusing is about saying no. It's about saying no to distractions, no to temptations, no to the things that don't matter so you can say yes to the one thing that does." Jobs built Apple not by doing 1,000 different things, but by narrowing in on what mattered most and pouring his energy into it. Focus is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. A dream without focus is just a wish. It floats in the air, beautiful but powerless. But a dream fueled by focus becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action becomes a reality. The problem is, most people don't fail because they don't have dreams. They fail because they're too distracted to make them real. They get halfway there, then give up. They start something, then stop when it gets hard. They keep switching paths, never realizing that the road to success requires walking the same path again and again, even when it feels repetitive, even when it feels difficult, even when it feels like nothing is happening. That persistence is focus in action. Now, let's be real. Focus is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger the more you use it. The more you discipline your mind to stay on one thing, the more powerful your focus becomes. There's an old proverb that says, "The man who chases 2 rabbits catches none." How true is that? When you scatter your attention, you lose both opportunities. But when you commit to one path, when you lock in, when you give it your full heart, you increase your chances of success 100 times over. Think about Michael Jordan. Do you think he became the greatest basketball player in history by focusing on 10 different sports? No. He locked in on basketball, obsessed over it, studied it, lived it, breathed it, and his focus created greatness. Think about Serena Williams. Do you think she became a legend by dabbling? No, she devoted herself to the craft of tennis with such intensity that it became part of her very being. That's focus. And it doesn't just apply to sports. Writers, scientists, entrepreneurs, musicians, inventors, every single person who left a mark on history did so because of focus. Thomas Edison said, "The successful person makes a habit of doing what the failing person doesn't like to do." He failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb, but his focus never wavered. That persistence, that laser-like dedication, is what lit up the world, literally. Now, here's the truth. Your focus creates your future. Whatever you consistently give your attention to will eventually shape your life. If you focus on negativity, your life will be negative. If you focus on excuses, your life will be full of regret. But if you focus on growth, on learning, on action, on discipline, your life will rise. I want you to ask yourself a question right now. What are you focusing on? Be honest. Are you focusing on things you can control or on things you can't? Are you focusing on progress or are you obsessing over problems? Are you focusing on your goals, or are you distracted by other people's lives, comparing yourself to what you see on a screen? Here's the secret: your focus is your superpower, but you have to learn to control it. Don't let the world control it for you. Don't let random distractions steal it. You must decide where your focus goes, because where focus goes, energy flows. And the amazing thing is, you always have a choice. You can choose to focus on your limitations, or you can choose to focus on your possibilities. You can choose to focus on fear, or you can choose to focus on courage. You can choose to focus on the pain of the moment, or the growth it's building within you. That's why focus is not just a tool, it's a way of life. It's the commitment to shut out the noise and pay attention to what really matters. It's the decision to live with clarity in a world that thrives on confusion. It's the courage to keep your eyes on the prize when everyone else is getting lost in distractions. Let me leave you with this thought for now. Life is short. Time is limited. Every day you're spending your energy on something. The question is, are you spending it on what matters most? Are you building the life you want, or are you letting distractions build it for you? Remember, focus is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Focus is the weapon that cuts through resistance. Focus is the light that guides you out of darkness. And if you can master it, there is no dream too big, no challenge too great, no obstacle too strong. This is where your power lies. Guard your focus, protect it, direct it. And one day, you'll look back and realize that focus wasn't just something you practiced. It was the very reason you achieved everything you dreamed of. Focus is not just about what you look at. It's about how deeply you look. Most people see life like a passing blur, moving quickly from one thing to the next, never really committing, never really digging deep. But focus is depth, focus is commitment, focus is intensity. It's the ability to lock your mind on something so firmly that nothing can shake you off course. Think about a sculptor with a block of marble. To most people, it's just a heavy stone, but the sculptor sees something inside. Every swing of the chisel, every careful strike, every decision to keep shaping and refining, that's focus. Without it, the marble stays a block forever. But with focus, something beautiful, something timeless, something extraordinary emerges. That's exactly what happens in life. You are the sculptor, and your focus is the chisel. What you keep directing it toward is what you will eventually create. But the challenge today is that distractions are louder than ever. We live in a world that profits from stealing your attention. Every app, every platform, every advertisement is fighting for your focus. And if you don't guard it, your energy will get spread so thin that nothing meaningful will ever grow. That's why discipline and focus go hand in hand. Discipline is what protects your focus. Discipline is what says, no, I won't waste my time. No, I won't let my energy get drained. No, I won't get lost in the noise. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors in history, once said, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. That's not because they don't care. It's because they understand that focus requires sacrifice. You cannot give your time, your energy, your attention to everything. You must choose. And choosing is hard. Choosing means letting go of things that seem fun in the moment. Choosing means ignoring instant gratification for the sake of long-term results. Choosing means walking away from distractions even when they look tempting. But that's what separates those who win from those who wish. The winners focus, the dreamers scatter. You see, focus is not glamorous. Focus is not always exciting. Focus is often quiet, repetitive, even boring. It's waking up every day and doing the small things that matter, even when nobody is clapping for you, even when the results aren't showing yet, even when you feel tired and uncertain. That's where true greatness is built, behind the scenes in the hours of focused effort that nobody sees. Let me tell you, this focus is more about consistency than intensity. Anyone can focus for a day. Anyone can focus for a week. But can you focus for years? Can you dedicate yourself to the same vision day after day, month after month, year after year? That's the kind of focus that builds legacies. Bruce Lee once said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. That's focus. That's mastery. That's what happens when you give your energy to one thing over and over again until it becomes unstoppable. But here's the challenge in your journey. People will not always understand your focus. They will tell you to loosen up, to try more things, to live balanced. And yes, balance is important in health, in relationships, in life. But when it comes to building your dream, balance doesn't build empires. Obsession does. Relentless focus does. Look at history. Look at the people who changed the world. Did they live balanced lives? No, they were obsessed. They poured their entire souls into one thing. Nikola Tesla devoted his life to electricity. Beethoven dedicated his life to music. Elon Musk works tirelessly on his vision of space travel and sustainable energy. These people weren't casual. They weren't dabblers. They were focused, and that focus changed humanity. Now, let me be clear, focus doesn't mean you ignore everything else. Focus doesn't mean you abandon your health, your relationships, your responsibilities. Focus means you make your vision a priority. It means you refuse to waste your energy on things that don't serve your purpose. It means you stop scattering and start directing. You have to understand something. Energy is finite. You only have so much time, so much strength, so much mental space every day. If you let it leak into 1,000 directions, you'll feel tired and frustrated, but you won't have results. If you channel it into one direction, you'll see progress, and progress builds momentum. And momentum, once it starts, becomes unstoppable. But to build momentum, you must first focus long enough to see results. That's why most people never make it. They give up too soon. They get distracted right when the breakthrough is about to happen. Success doesn't usually come after one day, 1 week, or 1 month of focus. It comes after years of staying committed. It comes after seasons of discipline. It comes after countless repetitions that nobody else sees. You see, focus is not just an act, it's an identity. You have to become a focused person. You have to tell yourself every day, I am someone who finishes what I start. I am someone who stays the course. I am someone who does not get distracted by noise. When you create that identity, your actions will follow. And when your actions follow, results will come. Slowly at first, then faster, then explosively. That's the power of compounded focus. The more you stay consistent, the more your results multiply. And suddenly, the life you dreamed of is no longer a dream, it's your reality. Let me share with you another truth. Focus will test you. It will demand patience. It will require sacrifice. There will be moments when you want to quit, when you feel like your effort is going unnoticed, when you feel like distractions are easier and more rewarding. But those are the moments that define your destiny. If you can stay focused when it's hard, you will build a life others only talk about. As the great philosopher Aristotle once said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. Focus is not about one-time effort. It's about daily habits, daily choices, daily discipline. The excellence you dream of is not found in a single day. It's found in the accumulation of thousands of focused days. And here's the beautiful part. Once you train your focus, you become unstoppable. Distractions lose their grip on you. Negative voices fade away. Fear and doubt shrink because your mind is locked on the vision, because you've trained yourself to look past the noise and see only the target. That's why focus is freedom. It frees you from being pulled in every direction. It frees you from comparison. It frees you from regret. When you focus, you live with clarity, with purpose, with strength. And that kind of life is rare, but it's available to anyone willing to choose it. So ask yourself, are you willing to choose focus? Are you willing to give up distractions for your destiny? Are you willing to say no to comfort in order to say yes to greatness? Because if you are, then there's no limit to what you can achieve. Your dream is waiting for you. Your potential is waiting for you. Your future is waiting for you. But it's not waiting for a distracted version of you. It's waiting for the focused version of you. The one who says, I will not quit. I will not get distracted. I will not scatter. I will lock in and I will make it happen. Remember, your life is a reflection of your focus. Change your focus and you change your life. Focus is not just a tool for success. It's the foundation of fulfillment. You see, when you learn to focus, you're not only achieving goals, you're also building meaning into your life. Scattered attention creates scattered emotions. But focused attention creates deep satisfaction because it allows you to pour your whole self into the moment, into the task, into the purpose that matters most to you. Have you ever noticed how time feels when you are truly focused? Hours can pass by and it feels like minutes. That's called flow. It's the state of being fully immersed, fully alive, fully engaged. And that state only comes when you give yourself completely to one thing at a time. That's the gift of focus. It gives you not only results, but joy in the journey. But here's the challenge. Most people never experience this because their attention is always divided. They're trying to multitask, thinking they're being productive, but in reality, multitasking is the killer of focus. Science has proven it. When you switch between tasks, your brain takes time to readjust, And that constant switching drains your energy. It feels like you're doing more, but you're actually doing less. That's why successful people guard their focus fiercely. Bill Gates once said, "My success, part of it certainly, is that I have focused in on a few things." He didn't try to be everything to everyone. He picked his lane and went all in. And that's what you need to do if you want to build something meaningful. Let me tell you something important. Success is not about intensity, it's about direction. You can run as fast as you want, but if you're running in the wrong direction, you'll never reach your goal. Focus gives you direction. Focus ensures that your energy is not just being spent, but being invested. Every ounce of effort you put in, while focus compounds into progress. But focus requires clarity. You cannot focus on something you haven't clearly defined. That's why vague goals don't inspire action. If you say, "I just want to be successful," that's too blurry. Your mind doesn't know where to aim. But if you say, "I want to build this business, or finish this book, or run this marathon," now your mind has a target. And once you have a target, you can direct your focus. Clarity creates focus. Focus creates momentum. Momentum creates results. Let's look at athletes again because they embody focus in its purest form. Picture a sprinter at the starting line of a 100-meter race. The crowd is screaming, cameras are flashing, the stadium is roaring. But the sprinter hears none of it. Their eyes are locked on the finish line. Their mind is locked on the race. That's focus. And that's why they win. Now, let's apply that to your life. What's your finish line? What's the goal you're running toward? If you don't define it, distractions will define it for you. If you don't set your focus, the world will steal it. And the world will always have something else for you to focus on. Entertainment, gossip, fear, comparison. But those things don't build your dream. Only focus does. And yes, focus takes sacrifice. Every yes to your dream is a no to something else. But here's the truth. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Sacrifice a little distraction now, and you'll gain a lifetime of fulfillment. Let me share with you a story. There was a young man who wanted to learn martial arts from a great master. On his first day, he asked Master, "How long will it take me to become great?" The master replied, 10 years. The student said, "But what if I train twice as hard?" The master smiled and said, "Then 20 years. The student was confused. "Why longer?" he asked. The master answered, "Because when your focus is divided between speed and mastery, you will never truly learn." That's the danger of impatience. True focus is not rushed. True focus is steady, deliberate, persistent. It's not about how fast you can achieve. It's about how deeply you can commit. Remember what Confucius said, "The man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither." And in today's world, most people are chasing 20 rabbits at once. But if you choose one, if you lock in, if you decide that this is the dream you're going to give your life to, you will catch it. Focus also builds resilience. When you're locked in on your vision, setbacks don't break you. They refine you. Distractions don't pull you away. They strengthen your discipline. Rejection doesn't stop you. It redirects you because your focus is greater than your frustration. Think about Thomas Edison again. Over 1,000 failed experiments before the light bulb. 1,000. Most people would have quit at 10, at 50, at 100. But his focus was unshakable. He didn't see failure. He saw feedback. And his focus turned setbacks into stepping stones. The same applies to you. If you stay focused long enough, even your failures will begin to work for you. Every mistake will become a lesson. Every setback will become fuel. Every delay will become preparation. But only if you don't get distracted and quit. That's why focus is not only about looking forward, it's also about blocking out the noise around you. Focus is about ignoring comparison, because comparison is one of the biggest distractions in life. You'll always find someone ahead of you, someone richer, faster, stronger, smarter. If you focus on them, you'll lose sight of your own path. But if you focus on your growth, your journey, your mission, you'll win your race. Remember what Theodore Roosevelt said. Comparison is the thief of joy, and it's also the thief of focus. Stop looking sideways. Stop measuring your progress against someone else's timeline. Focus on your lane. Run your race. And while you run, understand this: focus is not about ignoring the present. It's about being fully in the present. It's not about stressing over the future. It's about maximizing this moment. Because success is not achieved in the future, it's built in the present, one focused moment at a time. If you can focus on making today count, tomorrow will take care of itself. If you can focus on winning one day, then another, eventually you will look back and realize you've won your life. So here's the challenge I want to leave you with right now. Decide what matters most. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. Decide what you will give your focus to. Decide what you will no longer waste energy on. Because until you decide, distractions will decide for you. As the great motivational speaker Les Brown said, you must remain focused on your journey to greatness. Not anyone else's journey, your journey. And that journey starts the moment you stop scattering and start focusing. So lock in, narrow down, cut the noise. Build your focus like a muscle day after day. And one day, you'll realize that the very thing that seemed impossible became possible. Not because you were the smartest, not because you were the luckiest, but because you were the most focused. That's the real secret. Focus creates possibility. Focus turns dreams into destiny. Focus is the difference between wishing and winning. Focus is the invisible force that shapes the visible world. Everything you see around you, every invention, every piece of art, every skyscraper, every achievement was once just an idea in someone's mind. But what turned that idea into reality was focus. Ideas are everywhere, everyone has them, but only those who can focus long enough to execute them change the world. Think about it. The Wright brothers didn't just dream of flying. People had dreamed of flying for centuries. But while others only wished, they focused, they obsessed, they tested, failed, rebuilt, and tried again until they broke through the sky. The airplane wasn't born from a casual wish. It was born from relentless focus. And that's the truth about your dreams too. Wishing is not enough. Hoping is not enough. Even talent is not enough. Focus is the key that unlocks the door. Without focus, your dream stays a fantasy. With focus, your dream becomes inevitable. But here's the paradox. Focus is simple, yet it's not easy. It's simple because all you have to do is lock onto one thing and stay with it. But it's not easy because the world is constantly pulling you in different directions. The enemy of focus is not laziness. It's distraction. Distraction comes in many forms. It comes as entertainment that wastes your hours. It comes as fear that paralyzes your decisions. It comes as excuses that tell you to wait. It even comes as opportunities. Yes, opportunities that look good but don't align with your purpose. Remember this, not everything that glitters is gold. Not every opportunity deserves your focus. Sometimes the greatest threat to your focus is not failure. It's distraction disguised as progress. Steve Jobs said it best. People think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to 100 other good ideas. That's the secret. Saying no doesn't make you weak. It makes you powerful. Every no to a distraction is a louder yes to your destiny. So how do you train your focus in a world designed to steal it? You start by creating clarity. Without clarity, you cannot focus. You must define your vision. You must know what matters. Ask yourself, what is my mission? What do I want to build? What kind of life do I want to live? When you answer those questions, focus becomes easier because your mind knows where to go. Then comes discipline. Discipline is the shield that guards your focus. Discipline says, I don't care how tempting this distraction is. I won't give in. Discipline says, I don't care if nobody's watching. I'm staying the course. Discipline says, I don't care if it's hard. I will finish what I started. Without discipline, focus is fragile. With discipline, focus is unstoppable. And let me tell you, discipline and focus will take you places talent never can. There are countless talented people who never fulfilled their potential because they lacked focus. Talent is wasted without focus. But even average skill, fueled by relentless focus, becomes extraordinary. Let's look at Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. People remember his talent, his skill, his championships, but what made him a legend was his focus. He called it the Mamba mentality. He woke up at 4 a.m. to train when others were still sleeping. He shot thousands of baskets in practice. He studied film relentlessly. His focus on mastery was so intense that his teammates and even his opponents admired it. Kobe didn't become great by accident. He became great by focus. And here's the lesson for you. You don't need to be extraordinary to start. Focus is what makes you extraordinary. When you choose to focus day after day, year after year, your ordinary actions become extraordinary results. But you must be patient. Focus is not about instant gratification. It's about long-term vision. We live in a culture of quick results, instant likes, overnight success. But real success is never overnight. Real success is built brick by brick, day by day, through years of focused effort. Remember what Will Smith once said, you don't try to build a wall. You don't set out to build the biggest, baddest, greatest wall that's ever been built. You say, I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. You do that every single day, and soon you have a wall. That's focus. Focus is laying one brick at a time, even when the wall isn't visible yet. And here's the most beautiful part. Focus transforms not just what you do, but who you become. When you focus, you build discipline. When you focus, you build resilience. When you focus, you build confidence. Because every day you keep your eyes on your vision, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You prove that you are consistent. You prove that you can trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, your power becomes limitless. But here's the warning: focus will be tested. The moment you commit to your dream, distractions will multiply. Doubt will whisper in your ear. Fear will rise. People will question you. Some will laugh at you. Others will try to pull you off your path. And in those moments, you must remember why you started. You must remember the vision that called you. You must remember that focus is not about them. It's about you. Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, once said, "When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful." That's what focus is. It's breathing your dream, living your vision, refusing to let anything break your commitment. So I ask you, what are you willing to give your focus to? What dream is worth your attention, your energy, your years? Because here's the truth: your life will follow your focus. If you focus on excuses, you'll live a life of regret. If you focus on growth, you'll live a life of progress. If you focus on distractions, you'll live a life of emptiness. But if you focus on your purpose, you'll live a life of fulfillment. Every day, you're making a choice. Every day, your focus is building your future. The question is, are you building the future you want, or are you letting distractions build it for you? Remember this: the world doesn't reward scattered effort. The world rewards focused persistence. The people who change the world are not the ones who try everything. They are the ones who master something. So lock in. Commit. Narrow your vision until it burns like a laser. Say no to the noise. Say yes to the dream. And then, with relentless discipline, stay focused until the dream becomes your reality. Because at the end of the day, focus is freedom. Focus is power. Focus is destiny. And when you learn to control it, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Focus is not just about what you gain. It's also about what you avoid. When you focus, you avoid wasting your life on things that don't matter. When you focus, you avoid pouring energy into paths that lead nowhere. When you focus, you avoid the trap of living someone else's dream instead of your own. Think about this. Every day you wake up with a certain amount of energy. Imagine that energy as water in a bucket. If you poke 100 holes in the bucket, scrolling endlessly, worrying about what people think, switching from one project to another, that water leaks out and nothing grows. But if you pour all of that water into one plant, that plant grows strong. That's how focus works. Your life grows in the direction of your focus. And here's the truth: focus requires courage. Because the moment you focus on one thing, you have to let go of others. And letting go is scary. What if you make the wrong choice? What if it doesn't work out? That fear keeps many people scattered. They keep one foot in the dream, one foot in comfort, one foot in distraction, and they never move forward. But courage says, I will commit, I will lock in, I will give this dream everything I've got. There's a quote by Alexander Graham Bell: "Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus." That is as true for your life as it is for the sun. Until you focus, your energy is warm but weak. Once you focus, your energy becomes fire. But let's be real, focusing is not always fun. Focusing means saying no to short-term pleasure for long-term gain. Focusing means working when you don't feel like it. Focusing means staying disciplined when nobody is watching. And yes, there will be days when you feel like quitting. There will be days when progress feels invisible. There will be days when distractions look more attractive than discipline. But those are the days that define your destiny. Anybody can focus when it's easy. True champions focus when it's hard. Think of Thomas Edison again, staying up night after night, testing thousands of filaments before creating the light bulb. Think of J.K. Rowling, rejected 12 times before Harry Potter was published. Think of Elon Musk, sleeping in his factory while people laughed at his vision. These people had every reason to quit, every reason to get distracted, every reason to walk away. But they stayed focused, and their focus turned the impossible into the inevitable. And you have the same power within you. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to know every step. You just need to focus on the next step, then the next, then the next. Focus on doing what you can today, and tomorrow will reveal itself. That's how mountains are climbed, one step at a time. That's how books are written, one word at a time. That's how dreams are built, one focused action at a time. But here's something you must understand: focus is not just about action. Focus is also about thought. What you focus your mind on shapes your reality. If you constantly focus on problems, you'll always feel stuck. If you constantly focus on fear, you'll always feel weak. But if you focus on possibilities, on gratitude, on solutions, you'll feel strong. You'll see doors where others see walls. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And the quality of your thoughts depends upon your focus. What you feed your mind becomes your life." So ask yourself, what are you feeding your focus? Are you feeding it gossip, negativity, distractions? Or are you feeding it knowledge, growth, and vision? Because your focus is like soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. Plant weeds, and weeds will grow. Plant seeds of greatness, and greatness will grow. And remember, focus doesn't just happen by accident. You must design it. Create an environment that supports your focus. If your phone distracts you, put it away when you work. If your surroundings drain you, change them. If certain people pull you into negativity, distance yourself. Protect your focus like it's your most valuable treasure, because it is. Jim Rohn once said, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, and discipline starts with focus." Every time you choose to focus, you're building that bridge. Every time you refuse to get distracted, you're laying another plank. And one day, that bridge will carry you to your dreams. Now let's talk about something crucial. Focus is not about speed. Focus is about direction. You can spend years running fast in the wrong direction and end up nowhere. But 1 year of focused effort in the right direction can change everything. That's why clarity matters so much. Don't just be busy, be focused. Don't just move, move with purpose. We all know people who are constantly busy, but never making progress. That's because they confuse activity with achievement. They're scattered, they're distracted, they're everywhere but nowhere. Don't let that be you. Focus turns activity into achievement. And here's something else: focus builds trust. When people see that you are focused, when they see that you stick with things, when they see that you're committed, they begin to trust you. Opportunities open up, doors appear, because focus is rare and the world rewards those who have it. But remember, focus is not just about the external world, it's about the internal world too. You must focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. You must focus on your blessings, not your misfortunes. You must focus on your character, not your reputation. Because where your focus goes, your energy flows. And one day you'll realize something powerful. Focus is not just about achieving goals. It's about becoming the kind of person who achieves goals. Focus transforms you. It sharpens your mind. It strengthens your discipline. It deepens your resilience. And that transformation is worth more than any result. So I challenge you every day: choose focus. Choose to give your best energy to what matters most. Choose to cut the noise. Choose to direct your mind, your heart, your spirit toward your vision. Because here's the truth: life is short. You don't have time to waste on distractions. You don't have time to chase every shiny object. You don't have time to scatter your energy, but you do have time to focus. You do have time to build something meaningful. You do have time to live your purpose. And when you look back at your life, you won't regret the things you focused on. You'll regret the distractions you allowed to steal your dream. Don't let that happen. Protect your focus, guard it, honor it, direct it, because focus is not just the key to success. It's the key to fulfillment, to meaning, to impact. And once you master it, there is nothing you cannot achieve. There's something extraordinary that happens when you decide to live a focused life. You begin to notice things you never saw before. Opportunities that were invisible suddenly become clear. Ideas that were hidden suddenly come alive. People who can help you suddenly appear. And it's not because the world has changed. It's because your focus has changed. Focus sharpens your vision, and vision changes everything. Let me give you an example. When you decide to buy a new car, suddenly you see that exact model everywhere on the road. It's not that thousands of people bought the same car at the same time. It's that your mind is now focused on it. That's how life works. What you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you'll see problems everywhere. If you focus on solutions, you'll see solutions everywhere. If you focus on growth, you'll find growth opportunities everywhere. This is why successful people seem lucky. They're not luckier than anyone else. They're simply focused on seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. They've trained their minds to look for the gold hidden in the dirt. There's a powerful quote by Buddha: "What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create." Focus is the bridge that turns those words into reality. What you think about repeatedly becomes who you are. What you imagine with focus eventually becomes what you live. But here's the danger: focus works both ways. If you constantly focus on doubt, you'll create doubt. If you constantly focus on negativity, you'll attract negativity. If you constantly focus on fear, you'll become paralyzed by it. That's why protecting your focus is so important. Guard your mind the way you'd guard a priceless treasure, because it is. Your focus is the most valuable resource you have. You can lose money and earn it back. You can lose possessions and replace them. But once you lose years of focus, you can't get them back. And let's be honest, the world is designed to steal your focus. Social media, entertainment, gossip, constant notifications. It's all engineered to pull your attention in 1,000 directions. Every second you spend scrolling aimlessly is a second stolen from your dream. Every distraction you indulge in is energy taken from your purpose. But here's the good news: you have a choice. You are not a victim of distraction. You are the driver of your focus. You can decide what deserves your attention. You can decide what matters. You can decide where to direct your energy. And that decision, repeated day after day, will change your life. Now, let me share something many people forget. Focus requires rest. If you are exhausted, your focus will collapse. If your mind is cluttered, your focus will scatter. That's why rest is not laziness, it's preparation. Great athletes rest to perform at their peak. Great minds rest to think clearly. You need to recharge your focus so you can give it fully to what matters most. Focus also requires alignment. If you're focusing on something that doesn't align with your values, your spirit will fight against it. That's why clarity of purpose is so important. When your focus aligns with your values, your passion fuels it. And when passion fuels focus, you become unstoppable. Aristotle said, "It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it." That's also the mark of a focused mind. A focused mind sees distractions, temptations, and negativity, but does not accept them. It stays locked on its vision. So how do you build unstoppable focus? You start with small wins. Focus for 10 minutes, then 30, then an hour. Build your focus muscle the same way you build your body, with consistent practice. And over time, you'll be able to lock in for hours, even days, on your vision. That's how greatness is built, not overnight, but through daily focus. And let me remind you of something powerful: focus is contagious. When you stay focused, the people around you are inspired. Your friends, your family, your community, they all feel the power of your commitment. You become an example, a living testimony of what focus can do. And sometimes your focus can awaken focus in others. Think about the leaders who changed the world. Gandhi focused on non-violence and inspired a nation. Martin Luther King Jr. focused on justice and moved millions. Mother Teresa focused on serving the poor and inspired generations. They didn't scatter their energy across 100 causes. They focused on one cause, and that focus changed history. You may not be leading a nation, but your focus matters just as much in your own life. Your children are watching. Your peers are watching. Your future self is watching. And every time you choose focus, you're sending a message. This matters. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. There's another truth you must embrace: focus is freedom. At first, it feels like focus limits you because you're saying no to other things. But in reality, focus frees you. Focus frees you from confusion, from wasted time. Focus frees you from regret. Focus gives you the freedom to live fully in the direction of your dreams. Imagine trying to chase 10 rabbits at once. You'll catch none. But chase one with all your energy and you'll succeed. That's what focus does. It gives you the freedom to catch your dream. Now let's talk about persistence. Focus without persistence is weak. Persistence without focus is blind. But when you combine focus with persistence, you create unstoppable momentum. There will be setbacks. There will be failures. There will be disappointments. But if you stay focused, every setback becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes a stepping stone. Every disappointment becomes fuel. And eventually, the world will have no choice but to reward your persistence. Henry Ford once said, "Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal." That's the truth. When you lose focus, obstacles look huge. When you keep focus, obstacles shrink. So when the road gets tough, don't look at the obstacle, look at the goal. Don't look at the storm, look at the horizon. Don't look at the pain, look at the purpose. That's how you stay strong. That's how you move forward. That's how you win. And here's something beautiful: focus creates joy. When you are fully focused, when you are fully present, when you are locked in, you feel alive. Time disappears, doubt disappears, fear disappears. That's why athletes call it the zone. That's why artists call it flow. That's why philosophers call it presence. It's the joy of giving all of yourself to one thing. And that joy is available to you, not someday, not when you've achieved everything, but today, right now. All you have to do is focus. So let me leave you with this thought: your focus is your future. Whatever you focus on will shape your destiny. If you focus on excuses, you'll have a life full of excuses. If you focus on growth, you'll have a life full of growth. If you focus on fear, you'll live a small life. If you focus on courage, you'll live a big one. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Choose focus. In the end, it all comes down to this: your life is shaped by what you choose to focus on, not by what you dream about, not by what you talk about, but by what you consistently direct your energy toward. You see, every single person in this world has potential, but potential without focus is wasted. Potential without focus is like a diamond buried in the dirt. It will never shine. But when you focus, when you direct your potential toward something meaningful, you unleash greatness that even you didn't know existed inside you. And let me tell you something you need to hear: you are capable of more than you realize. You have strength within you that has not yet been tested. You have ideas that have not yet been born. You have resilience that has not yet been awakened. And the key to unlocking all of it is focus. Don't let anyone convince you that you are average. Don't let your past convince you that you are stuck. Don't let your failures convince you that you are finished. You are not finished. You are just getting started. And if you choose to focus, if you choose to direct your life with clarity and determination, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Remember this: your mind will always try to pull you in 100 directions. Fear will whisper, "Play it safe." Doubt will whisper, "You're not good enough." Distraction will whisper, "Do it later." But focus silences those voices. Focus says, "I know who I am. I know what I want. And I will not stop until I get there." That's why legendary basketball coach John Wooden said, "Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do." Too many people waste their energy focusing on their limitations instead of their possibilities. But champions flip the script. Champions focus on what they can do. Champions focus on progress, not perfection. Champions focus on moving forward, no matter how small the step. And let me tell you, greatness is not built in giant leaps. Greatness is built in small, focused actions repeated over time. Writing one page every day leads to a book. Saving a small amount every month leads to wealth. Practicing one skill every day leads to mastery. It's the power of focus compounded over time that creates extraordinary results. So don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for the right moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start now. Focus now. Take the step now, because the right time is not someday, the right time is today. And here's the beautiful truth: once you choose focus, life becomes simpler. Not easier, but simpler. You no longer chase everything, you chase the right thing. You no longer live for approval, you live for purpose. You no longer scatter your energy, you channel it like a laser. And that's when momentum kicks in. That's when doors start opening. That's when breakthroughs happen. Albert Einstein once said, "It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer." That's focus. Staying with it longer than anyone else. Believing in it when others doubt. Committing to it when others quit. That persistence, powered by focus, is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. And I want you to really hear this. Focus is not just about success in business, sports, or art. Focus is about success in life. Focus on being present with your loved ones. Focus on being grateful for what you have. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Because at the end of the day, true success is not just about what you achieve. It's about who you become. So ask yourself, who do you want to become? Do you want to be someone who gave up every time things got tough? Do you want to be someone who lived distracted, chasing 100 things but finishing none? Or do you want to be someone who stayed focused, who gave their best, who lived with purpose, and who inspired others through their example? The choice is yours. And every day and every moment you are making that choice. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but I've failed so many times. I've lost focus before. I've been distracted for years. And my answer to you is this: so what? Failure is not final. Distraction is not destiny. The past does not define you. Your focus today does. You can decide right now to reclaim your focus. You can decide right now to start again. And this time you don't quit. This time you don't get distracted. This time you lock in. Because here's the truth: your story isn't over. You still have chapters to write. And those chapters can be greater than anything that came before. Picture this: 5 years from now, you look back at today and you say, "That was the day I decided to focus. That was the day I stopped wasting time. That was the day I took control of my destiny." And you smile because you know that decision changed everything. Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." And focus is that courage in action. Focus is continuing when it's easier to quit. Focus is pushing forward when it's easier to settle. Focus is believing in yourself when nobody else does. And let me tell you this, you are worthy of focus. You are worthy of greatness. You are worthy of living a life that inspires others. Don't sell yourself short. Don't water down your dreams. Don't live distracted and defeated. You were born for more. I want you to imagine right now the life you want. Imagine the person you want to become. Imagine the impact you want to leave behind. Hold that picture in your mind. Feel it. Believe it. And then lock your focus on it like your life depends on it, because it does. And when the distractions come, and they will, remember this moment. When the doubts whisper, and they will, remember this moment. When the failures hit, and they will, remember this moment, because this is the moment you decided to focus. This is the moment you decided to rise. This is the moment you decided to believe in yourself. You don't need permission to focus. You don't need approval to focus. You don't need perfect conditions to focus. You already have everything you need inside you. The only question is, will you use it? So I'll leave you with this final thought. Focus is the key that unlocks the door to your destiny. And that key is in your hands. Don't waste it. Don't drop it. Don't give it away. Use it. Turn it. Unlock the life you were meant to live. Because once you focus, once you truly lock in, once you commit fully, nothing and no one can stop you.